How's it going, everybody? Gorilla Scientist here, and today we're going to be talking about Giovanna, who is a very good rushdown character from Guilty Gear Strive, which a lot of people have mistaken to be a gorilla character. Now, Giovanna does have very good pressure and very good frame data. However, she doesn't really have any broken mechanics that would make her become a gorilla archetype character. We're going to be talking about a few things that she can do and a few things you can do to counter them today. So the first thing that we're going to recommend today is a lot of the times in her block strings, Giovanna will do her flip kick over top of you, Sol Puente, I believe it's called. And you can kind of just mash out of that move. It's super slow. You can throw 5p, you can throw 6p. Pretty much any button that's going to be fast enough to interrupt her and also hit high enough to hit her, you're going to be able to interrupt that move. And yes, this does include DPs, so if your character is a character who happens to have a DP, especially an invincible one, you can use it to get out of the corner as well. But as you can see here, you do need to be careful, because if the Giovanna player predicts that you're going to use a DP, you can be pretty heavily punished for it. But other than that, as you can see, it's pretty safe. There is one other thing to keep in mind with Sol Puente, and that is that Giovanna is able to actually use it as a cross-up. After hitting you with a cross-up aerial, it'll actually continue into the Sol Puente hit. It hits on both sides. You're also able to use 6p to interrupt Travail in block strings, and if Travail is used at a distance, to distance close, you're also able to interrupt that with a poke during its startup frames, or with 6p after it's fully activated. And don't forget that you can also use Faultless Defense to give yourself some breathing room, and if the Giovanna player is not expecting it, you could get a punish. Although most Giovannas won't use their 6H outside of combos, sometimes they'll try to use it at the distance close, and if you duck the first hit, you can actually get a punish on the last hit, just simply because it changes where you are in relative position to Giovanna. Another tool that Giovanna has at her disposal is her 2 Dust. Is very disjointed and it reaches very far. As you can see here, it actually includes the splash effect outside of Ray's paw. Another thing to keep in mind when playing against Giovanna is her Stagger Pressure. If she simply delays when she hits buttons, you can get caught and hit with a counter hit, just simply because you were trying to answer what you thought was an opening. She can even micro step forward, as you see here with her close slash, and get 2 close slashes in a row and stagger. Now, I know a lot of the advice I've been giving you is pretty much just to mash out of Giovanna's pressure, and you're like, that's what's getting me punished as is. This isn't helping. But the thing to keep in mind is that you're looking for very specific openings, and if you mash out during moments where you're not actually safe, you could get hit with Giovanna's faster buttons. You know, her jab's 4 frames. She has a lot of 5 and 6 frame buttons as well. And she even has a 7 frame DP that you have to keep an eye out for. One of the last few things we want to cover here is how you're able to punish Giovanna's grounded super. You're able to get a full charge dust attack after it, which is pretty common for a lot of the supers in Guilty Gear Strive. But you do need to watch out for the amount of chip damage this super deals, so if you're really low health, you might want to Faultless Defense instead. Now, it is going to be a little bit more common, in my opinion, to see Giovannas use their aerial super. It's safer, and they can do it mid-combo for pretty impressive damage in a wall break. So do keep in mind when you see Giovanna airborne and they have meter to burn, that could be what they're looking for. So you need to, be ready to block. And it can even hit on the back side of you for a cross up. So you need to be very wary of airborne Giovannas with meter. Speaking of meter here, the last thing we want to cover is that at 50% meter, Giovanna gets a 5% damage buff, as well as a reduction of 5% damage taken. And at 100% meter, Giovanna actually gets a 10% damage buff, as well as 10% damage reduced taken, which actually brings her up to, I believe, the same defense modifier as Potemkin. So pretty beefy when she has full meter just sitting in her bar. Alright, well, hopefully what we've talked about here, this quick little video, will help you with your Giovanna matchups. I do believe that she is a very good, very solid rushdown character with great frame data and a few frame data traps. She also has that lovely disjointed 2D. But, I don't believe she's of the gorilla archetype. She doesn't really have anything that's broken or game-changing. She's just kind of a solid all-around rushdown character. Good at what she does, but very linear and simple. Hopefully you all enjoyed this video. If so, give us a like, and don't forget to leave a comment below.